you are probably in the middle of a hurricane like we are here in Fire Island. So I hope you're safe and well, and thank you for taking the time. I see some people are in nicer places than where we are. So good. But right now, quite the storm outside here. I apologize if it disturbs at any time. I've also made sure to sign on from a few different accounts in case electricity goes down. If it does, please bear with us for a moment. I'm going to give it a couple of minutes just to let everybody join and let their audio connect and everybody get situated. We love seeing you. We love seeing your living room decor. So please leave your cameras on if it's available. And be a part of this. This is a community screening. And we're excited to have you here. We miss everybody so much that yes, we'll take Zoom if that's all we can get. So thank you for joining us, and we'll start in 2 more minutes. I keep talking just to fill the air in case people are connecting their audio and want to make sure that their audio is working. And I always say this is the time to scroll through the gallery mode where you could see who's around and who's logging in. And then of course, once we officially start, I recommend switching to speaker mode on the top right. We've also shared that I know some people were having trouble watching the film this week, and we're working on fixing that. So if you have yet to watch the film, hopefully we won't share too many spoilers. I don't think it's that kind of film. We will make sure to find you a way to see the film. And of course, we will be taking questions. I'll start with a few questions to the filmmaker, but we will be taking questions from the audience. And in order to ask questions, you can put the question in the chat box, and then we will we'll contact you and unmute your mic and let you ask the question in a live format. If you can't ask in a live format for whatever reason, just let us know, and we will take it from there. So once again, we will try to keep the film available for a little bit longer for those who could not access the film this week, definitely through this coming weekend. And I think we're ready to start. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Marlene Meyerson JCC Manhattan's run along with other partnering Jewish film festivals from around the country. And a real big shout out to your local Jewish film festival. This is our Q&A for My Polish Honeymoon, and we have the director of the film here with us, Elise Otzenberger. I'm pronouncing it wrong, but
yes, perfect.
She allowed it somehow. And we're really happy to discuss this film. I have to say that this film spoke to me on a very, very personal level. First of all, as a 3rd generation, I think I'm technically a 4th generation survivor. And the way Holocaust has played into, even now, 3 generations, 4 generations later, was something that I think this movie really hit the nail on the head. And I think about when I traveled to parts of Europe, I thought about how you almost can't disconnect this history, even now, so many years later. Tell us a little bit about where the concept of the film came from and the background to the film.
Okay. A few years ago, 11 years ago now, I did the same trip as the same trip as it is in the movie. Just after my wedding and after my first baby boy was born, when I met my husband, we discovered that we were together very obsessed by that history, and we share very deeply these neuroses. And we were doing some research on Jewish gen about our family. And one day we received an invitation to go to Poland, in Zgierz, in my husband's grandfather village where he was born, and he left during the war. And we decided to go because we thought it was clearly the only way. I don't know if this invitation didn't exist, if we would have been, if we would have been to Poland in our life, to be honest, because it was not in our plan. And when we received the proper date of the commemoration, we discovered it was clearly 3 weeks after our wedding, so technically it was our honeymoon. And it was so in a way strange and funny, but very relevant regarding our nevroses and our own problematic to be there at this precise moment of our lives. And very quickly I decided to do something about that trip, because it was so strong, so moving, so strange, so yeah, it was really something. So I started to write. At the beginning, I was thinking more about a novel. My first job is to be an actress, but I decided to become a director, and that story, that subject was popped in my head, like I had to do that movie. It was really clear. So the movie is really close from my real life, even though I put a lot of fiction in it, so but the places are the same. The trip was the same. We went in Krakow first, and then in Zgierz. So yeah, a lot of details were like in real life.
Were ping and pong real? I love those.
No, no. But what is real, every time I go for a trip with my husband, we have so many stories about car rental. So it was I needed to have a scene in a car rental, but ping and pong are not real. No.
So that was something actually that I found very relatable, and what I loved about it, and obviously because it's coming from your real life, is if you take, I mean, what makes this film actually even more universal is, regardless of the story of the Holocaust-related arc within it, the story of the relationship, their story as a couple, was so realistic and so relevant, and something that I'm hoping not just I, because of maybe the way I travel with my partner, but found to be very, very relevant and very realistic to our generation of parents.
I hope so. I hope so. That's why I had the feeling that there was something to do on screen, because our reaction were very funny, because yeah, you're in very you're very fragile in a way when you do that kind of trip. So everything is very strong. All the emotions are very, very strong. So it's a good way to write some scenes.
So we were talking earlier that I mentioned that actually the chemistry between them, it was so natural, and their conversations were so natural and funny and engaging. I was curious to how much of it was scripted and how much of it was improvised.
It was written. Yeah, everything was written. And I've been very lucky because I had amazing actors. I knew I needed to have that kind of actors. They're both from theater. They're very, 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 yeah, they're so great, so strong, so precise. And that's why I choose them. And I've been lucky they said yes, actually. But we prepared before the shooting a lot. It was important for me to make the couple very strong before going to Poland, because I knew the shooting was going to be very, very short. As Hannah said, Hannah's mom said that in Poland, yeah, the dark come very, very quick, so you don't have any more light at 3 o'clock. So for movies, it's very bad. So you need to be very, very quick. And yeah, we prepared a lot. And when we arrived in Poland, I hope, but I think it was interesting for them, because they had the freedom to create and to live for real what we worked before.
And as far as shooting in Poland, this was also something that I was very interested in, because it's really a road trip. and you're going all around, and you really get a sense. It's a little, you get a little tour of Krakow, you get a little tour of this area. How was that produced? Tell us a little bit about that process.
When I met my the Polish partners of my French producers, it was funny because I said to them, I need to go back on in this village, in this street. So it was like a trip back, on the thing they had no clue about that. So it was strange, but it was funny, and we went in the real village. The cemetery is the same. The rabbi is even the same. So not 100% because I had to cheat on some things, but I was able to find almost everything. So it was a real movie. So we prepared the set and as usual, but for some scene we needed to have a documentary way of shooting. So for example, when they're in the market, in the small village, we took the actors and we didn't ask all the people in the markets are not extras, they're real people, and so we filmed the actors in a real market. So yeah, but it was not possible to do that for all the scenes. For example, in Krakow, it's impossible. You need to prepare, and you can't do that sort of thing.
Right. I'll ask. I want to open it to some questions from the audience. So if you have questions, folks, you can put it in the chat box, and then we'll contact you and open the mic. But the last question I wanted to ask was as far as one of the things that intrigued me, of course, which is I think core to the drama here, and I think very realistic to second and third generation relationships, was the mother-daughter relationship. And I don't know how close that is to your mother in real life.
My mom is even worse than the character in the movie because she didn't came in Poland. It's impossible for her. And she, during the shooting, she was calling me literally every day. And she was saying to me, you have to come back. I'm not happy knowing you're in Poland. I'm not happy. And I was like, Mom, I'm doing my first movie. You should be happy for me. It's impossible to have that kind of reaction, please. And yeah, she's, for her, that's easy. She can't, she will never go to Poland. It's impossible for her, impossible, literally. And I think she even today, I'm not sure she understands why I did the movie and why I did the trip in first place with my husband. For her, it's so strange. Yeah.
Oh, I had to unmute. Hi, folks. Sorry about that. We had lost electricity for a moment, so I had to switch to my phone. Good thing I was prepared. So I'm sorry, I missed the end of that answer, but but it's a wild time in the middle of a hurricane. I bet you've never done a Q&A like this. Morgan, I cannot see any of the questions in the chat from my phone, and neither can you. But I'm seeing a question. The photos used during the final credits. Sam, maybe you can unlock that. Maybe you can unlock that last question and have them ask the question.
So where? About the picture at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. There's the first pictures are from my family and my husband's family, and then I ask all my crew, my French and my Polish crew, to give me some pictures, some family pictures from them, and so it's a crew family, mixed.
Gotcha. Okay. We have a question from Daniel Merrims. Sam, are you able to open Daniel Merrims' mic? If not, I could ask the question. Here we go.
I listed the question on the chat. And the question was just, I seem to have missed something. What was the significance of the plant that was put in the planter at the end of the film? I obviously missed the significance of it. I assume it was shown somewhere at the beginning of the film.
No, not really. The idea is, you know, when she at the end, Anna said to her mom, "I think Babusha would have been so happy to." I think Babusha would have been so mad if we had put the foreskin in Poland, you know. So it was a very, very strange idea, and she said for her what would have been good would have been to put it here in Paris, because she escaped Poland to come in Paris to become a French woman and to begin a new life, you know. So it's a way to show that now they have their, with that trip, with all the things she finally shared with her mom, she can make her own garden, her own life, you know, and now it's in their hands. So yeah, to put in the small plan, but in their small apartment, you know, it's going to be their history and not, you know, the big history about the that they didn't knew before, because the yeah, now the silence is broken. So hopefully it's a new, yeah, it's a new time. That was the symbolic in a way, but you know, after that it's.
Sam, could you unmute me? Sam, could you unmute the other one? Sorry, folks. I'm unmuted and no longer that echo. Sorry about that. This is, I had another question here from David. Are we able to unmute David's mic? David, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Yes, so my question is, as someone who's traveled a lot to other countries where, you know, I speak English as my first language. A lot of the local guides and hotel staff obviously do not, but it's not really a struggle for me because I speak English as my native language. Whereas you sort of see in the movie, there are cases where it seems to be a stressful situation because you're speaking with the hotel staff who have Polish as a first language, and you obviously have French as your first language, and now you're both trying to translate your thoughts into English. And then, so my question is, have you ever, as a result, had communication breakdowns or delays, or had cultural misunderstandings in how you interpreted people? Like in the movie when he was saying, oh, they're profiling me. They said I should watch klezmer music. They know that I'm Jewish. Well, maybe they view that as being helpful, you know, that maybe there's a cultural difference that you didn't sense, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I tried to show in the movie. It's who knows, you know, and it's how you travel with all your background. For sure, someone, you know, I spoke with people with not the same history as mine, and they said to me, "Oh, how did you find Krakow? It's an amazing city. It's so beautiful." And so, and we had such a different experience with the same trip, because of course, when you're a third generation, you can't go in this place with not, you know, a very, very heavy background. So, yeah.
What is it stressful for you from the language? Obviously, you speak English very well, but it's not your first language. Is it stressful that you have to speak to someone else, like a hotel clerk, where English is not their first language either?
It was not that consensually. I was not really. I don't think so. No, I'm not sure. No, I don't think so. Because as French people, you're used to try to speak English in such very often. When you travel, you use English very, very often. So yeah. No, I don't know. But yeah, maybe a little, but in my unconscious, I don't know. Yeah.
Thank you.
We have a question from Jules. Let me get Jules on the line.
Oh, hi. Wonderful film. Beautiful mixing of essentially a romantic comedy with a Holocaust theme that was totally unexpected and charmingly brought off. One question that still bothers me a little bit, or not bothers me, intrigues me a little bit, is the uncle, the presumed gay uncle who is hooked up with the shiksa, who is a little glamorous, a little ditzy, and seems genuinely moved by the ceremony, possibly more so than any of the others. I found those two characters very interesting. Do they exist in real life?
The uncle exists in real life. He came with us when we did the trip for real, but he was alone. I invited that love story because I think few months before my wedding, he told us that someone told him that he was supposed to meet someone at our wedding, but it was, it never happened. So I imagine that prediction was real, and that's why I create the character Clémence. But the idea was also to have someone non-Jewish, and how someone with a very different background, how she will react, with all that, with this family and in this special occasion. So I had the feeling that it could be funny, to have such a different, such big cultural differences. Yeah. But no, it's not in real life. And you know what? My husband's uncle, he didn't see the movie, so I need to show him, because I didn't have any copy with English subtitle, because he's from Scotland, actually, because my husband's family they're from Glasgow. So now I will be able to show him the movie, and I think he don't know about that about that whole story I made. So I'm a bit afraid with his reaction, but I hope he will find the character funny.
It might get him in trouble. Watch out.
Yeah, I know.
I thought those were great characters too, and a great twist in the plot. We're going to take one more question from Ellen. Ellen, you're on.
Thank you. I just was laughing so much throughout this movie. It was so charming. I loved it. I wish there was a little bit more English so I could follow the English a little bit more, but it was the twists and turns were so great. Can you tell me a little bit more about the two women in the lingerie shop? And they made connections somehow, and I didn't quite catch what that was, but it was a hysterical moment.
When I wrote the scene, the idea came from when we arrived in Poland. I was in real life like Anna, and of course I make it stronger, because it's movie. But the idea was Anna is she wants to be Polish, from everywhere. She really wants to feel what her grandmother, was feeling when she was a young girl in the street of Krakow. So she really wants. It's really strong, and she's a bit crazy. So when she meets that young girl in the lingerie shop, she wants to feel that Polish connection, and for Adam it's like, it's crazy, she's so afraid. and but you know, I have the feeling that of course with that special history even more, but when you travel, you really want to experience the, you know, the foreign habits, you know, from the land you're visiting. So it's that idea, you want to feel everything, yeah. So yeah,
And the boots
I'm
were
happy.
hysterical.
Yeah, the boots are so funny. I wrote the boots, but we when with my costume designer, we had to find the boots, and we found some in Paris, but I was not very happy. And when we first came in Poland to prepare the movie, the first evening, we were walking in a big street of Lodge of Wood, where we did a big part of the movie, and we saw that pair of boots in the in a small shop. So the next morning we went in the shop, and we needed 2 pairs, because, you know, for movies you need to be prepared in case you have a problem, and it was the last 2 pairs. So we were so happy.
I wanted to just, before we finish up, ask a couple more questions. First of all, how's this film been received? Can you share a little bit about how the film was received around the world? If, like our American audience, people were able to relate to it in all different parts of the world. I know you've won some awards in different countries, and I'd love to hear some of the reactions. So let's start.
In France, the movie was released 1 year ago, in last June, and I was very lucky because it was way before all that, you know, the pandemic crisis. So yeah, I've been very lucky. So the movie had a very good life in France. It's a small movie for sure. So, but even though we had a very good reception, we had many theaters in Paris and in outside Paris who played the movie. What's interesting, I have the feeling that maybe the Jewish community in France is more Sephardic, so I found more connection with the people where I was speaking with in America, to be honest. You know, all the Q&A I did in America last year were, yeah, it was different, you know. Maybe this third generation problematic was maybe, yeah, more understood here. I don't know, maybe in a way. But people with not Jewish background at all, they received the, I was very happy because I have a friend from Corsica, and she told me, you know, I have the exact same history with my grandmother, because we have so many silence in our family. And I was happy about that, I hope, you know, that it's not just you know, my own family problematic, and people, silence is a very, very big problem in so many families. So yeah, and people with some foreign origins are in a way, you know, they can feel that kind of problematic, I think. So yeah. And I know the movie was released in Brazil. I did some few interviews, and it was really interesting. I didn't go to Moscow where we received an award, because I was very pregnant. So my actors had to go because I couldn't make the trip. Yes, it's amazing. And in Australia, yeah, in Australia, I had very good reaction from people in Australia. It's amazing to see the movie traveling like that. Who, you know, it's a miracle.
Yeah, no, I do. I mean, I do think that it's a very relevant film that speaks. I don't think there are a lot of films that really touch on this concept of third generation in such a approachable way that, yeah, you don't have to be from the community to understand it. You don't have to have the same exact family and same exact experiences to know where we are with that point in history and how that reflects. My last question was really about, like, what are your findings from this about, help me here as a third generation survivor too. What are your findings as far as how we keep the stories alive in a relevant way and make it accessible? Some families possibly share too much. Your family shared too little. And where do you feel that the next generation is really going to be able to connect with the Holocaust?
I hope I hope they will keep, the curiosity to ask, to read, to look at the testimony we have on screen, because for sure they're not going to be able to meet people in real life. Even though I don't want to make them, very anxious about that. I have 3 boys. My little one is 1 year old, so not now, but with my big ones, I already speak a lot about that history with them, and I think I'm not. I think we're quite a lot to do that with our families. So. Yeah, we need to keep the memory alive. Yeah, it's really important.
Thank you. Thank you so much for making this relevant film and allowing us to take a little trip this summer to Poland when we can't leave our country, really. I want to give a big thank you again to the festivals who partnered with this: the Charleston Jewish Film Festival, the Houston Jewish Film Festival, Fort Lauderdale Jewish Film Festival, and the New York Jewish Film Festival. Aviva, I see you're out there. Thank you for joining. And I know this film screened there too, so good to reconnect. Folks, thank you so much for joining us. Coming up next week, we have the film The Keeper that we'll be screening. We've also added 2 more new conversations to our program. Check them all out at jccfilm.org. We have a film coming up at the end of the month, The Passenger, and we have a special conversation from a new Netflix series that we're going to be hosting just before that. So join us for more events, and we're excited to also continue this throughout the fall. As long as we can't meet in person, we'll keep trying to bring you films and conversations virtually. I hope that you can really all stay safe, stay well, survive the storm if you're in the middle of it like us. Elise, thank you so much.
Thanks to you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Thank you all, and hope to see you soon.